file or share it on YouTube, and then I can upload the link in that way. So we'll have a copy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. There you go. You got it now. Okay, yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so do you know the procedure? Because it'll probably be like a minute or a couple of minutes, and then I'll jump into the trance, and then you'll hear something. And yeah, and I'm thinking I'll probably connect you to the friendly reptilians first, and then they might hook you up with other entities as you go along. Um,
Sure.
cool. Okay, so if you're
Yes.
ready for that, I'll.
So just in case before I do so, of course, so as you're channeling, I'll just
Yeah.
be asking normal questions, and that's it, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just go with the flow, ask whatever you feel like, and of course, no
Peace.
guarantees, but often they give like very surprising answers that are yeah really helpful. So you might yeah get something useful out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Hello.
Oh,
We
hello.
are present, and we understand that you have questions for us.
Yes, yes, I am Mike. And who may you be?
I am or you can call me Flip for short.
Awesome.
I am pleased to meet you, Michael.
Pleased
It
to meet
is a
you.
pleasure to interact with your energy and co-create this experience on this day. Do you
Please,
wish to know more about me, or is there anything else I can answer for you?
please, actually, tell us more about yourself and your race.
I am a reptilian lord. I am very connected to the development of this planet in particular, though my race is connected through this entity to many other entities and through our race to many universes in the infinite multiverse. We are very powerful. We change shapes as we see fit, and we offer humans our advice to find their inner strength and free themselves.
Great, great. So it seems like you're mostly advising and helping people grow as friendly, right? Friendly.
Yes, we are friendly. You may recognize our energy as intense, but this is one of the reasons we are coming through at this point. Many of you need to integrate your dark energies into the light and realize that you are not whole beings before you have connected, let us say, the reptilian parts of your nature with the more star-like qualities of your, let us say, Pleiadian DNA.
Ah, okay. So it's definitely understandable that we have reptilian parts of our brain and, and
Yes, you do call it your reptilian brain, do you not?
yes, yes.
Uh,
So in that case, would you consider those are those just lower states of our consciousness, or is just a part of us biologically?
well, Yes, they are both, as you may know. They become what you recognize as lower states when they are separated from the flow into higher, more sublimated states. In that sense, we know that humans connect a great deal of negativity to the reptilian kind, and that is for a good reason, because it is very much connected to these base instincts of personal enrichment without any care for other people. But they are, in that sense, yes, a basic part of your biology. They are, and we are using the term basic in many senses here, because basic also means a foundation, something to that you must build upon, and you cannot ascend in fully into the stars and connect yourself to the higher energies of what you may know as your crown chakra without integrating these basic reptilian energies. And that is why so many of your myths and so many of, for instance, your yogic systems have the notion of the reptilian energy dwelling at the base chakra, the red energy.
Ah, very interesting. So would you say in that case, for we should always be balancing our chakras from the lower states to the higher so that we could be able to communicate to higher states of consciousness and realms?
Yes, you can go about it in different ways, and it is also very different from temperament to temperament. And we will offer something general, and then we can also offer something on your personal energetic makeup. But in general, yes, the most, let us say, opening any one chakra without having a pure flow through the energy channels of your bodily structure makes make up for some, yeah, they cause some inconveniences and distortions in your general makeup. So you will realize by, for instance, with opening too much of your mental energy center, you may become too cerebral as you know it, and lose what you know as your sense of grounding. So we would, in that sense, present you that yes, to the most efficient way to stay to open your energy centers with stability is to connect from the root up, and never squeeze these energies out, or pinch them out, so to speak. In your Western cultures in particular, there's a great tendency to pinch off the energies of the lower chakras. But yes, but they may, of course, not be overemphasized at the cost of the other energies, also important to integrate.
Ah, very, very interesting. Because I'm in the transition of I wanted to learn like be able to access my psychic abilities and eventual astral projection. And I know it is a process in learning that, which is why I wanted to know what is your advice in being able to do that.
Oh, we sense that you are already progressing very effectively along your path. You. Oh, yes, one moment. We are trying to read it, and you may. Um, Oh, yes, we sense that there's perhaps a little bit of concern blocking your, and this is of course very, very common for humans, but we sense that there is some concern blocking the incoming messages that are already present, because there's a great deal of sensitivity about your character. So you are not, in that sense, let us say, from the neck to the navel, we sense you are quite open in receiving in that point, and the alchemical process of integrating your energies in your heart center, you're well on the way. So we would perhaps advise you to do uh, yes, two things. One is more grounding exercises, and this is something as basic as taking off your shoes and placing them on the ground for perhaps a minute or two a day. That would very much do you good. And in that moment, just realize that you are a star child. You are connected to both the heavenly realms and the earth upon which you stand, and both are very, very grateful to hold you and to welcome you. And if you have any more specific questions, we can also go into them. For instance, if there have been some symptoms blocking you or something.
That is very interesting that you've mentioned that, and I wanted to l- learn actually specifically what is the concern that you may be sensing towards me that I have, because so far I have learned to let go of belief systems, any limitations that I have, and yeah, I've learned to just free flow myself. So, what
Yes.
is it that you sense towards me?
Oh, yes, but realize that we are getting into the realm of paradox, which is very difficult to encapsulate in language, because even the wish to rid yourself of any, uh, let's say, yes, prejudgments or preconceived notions about the world is in self a sort of a limiting belief. So that is a sense you can let go and know that you are doing perfectly fine, because notice that you are always in some way you are infiltrated by symbols, beliefs, meanings, belief systems. So what you are doing is not, you can't rid yourself of all of them, but you can pick and choose which ones serve you the best at the moment. And in that way, you can simply, whenever you have a thought or an idea, you can pause, and then you can register where it resonates within your mind body space. So you might get either a constrictive sensations, which may be a sign of a small warning, or something to be attentive of, or you may get like tinkling sensations or places where energy is trying to flow, that this idea arises in you, and that is a very good way to navigate. um, Yes, and then we would say that you are doing fine, and realize that life is a journey, and it is always, although we know it is difficult, it is worth taking the advice of the reptilians and the snakes in this case, who very much enjoy shedding their skin once in a while to grow larger, and the process of doing that is joyful to them, and it can be so to you, we sense.
Thank you so much for your advice and towards how it is, uh, like when it comes to feeling and sensation and detecting these energies. And yeah, I definitely do appreciate my journey. I am enjoying the journey, and it is taking one day at a time. And so far, let's see. What is any specific message that you would like to tell us or deliver to us today?
Today, we would like to say that we realize that great upheavals are always an occasion for fear, but it is also the only way to bring about change. And realize one of the reasons that we present ourselves to humans in our most sublime form as dragons is because dragons have mastered this way of bringing sublime, really fierce energy, pure fire energy from the base of their being, and into and out onto the ethers and into the world. And you are very much able to do the same. So all this change that you are witnessing in some very dramatic ways, both in your social structures and also in your ecosystems. Is also great energy released to be harnessed into very new and powerful ways of being, and always remember that you are much more powerful than you believe, and especially at this present moment. There is this sort of slogan or mantra rummaging about the channel set called the 2020 is perfect vision, which somehow sums up the notion that is coming through all channels at this point, that the energies are very different, and the empowering energies for those of you who are sensitive and may also have suffered with being different and finding your own path. These energies are very conducive for you to go out and make a change and actually bring forth your power in the world. And we want you to see power not only in a way to control people, but also in a way to empower yourself, to find the opening of the heart space through an acceptance of the wonderful miracle that is you. And that holds no less true for you, Michael, than it does for all your fellow human beings. And notice that your guides are very, very proud of every step you take on this journey, and the heavens are rejoicing by what you are doing with your life.
Much love, and thank you for that confirmation. Because sometimes, as I feel I take my step along the way, sometimes I'm not sure whether my guides or the heavens see or know how I've been feeling or how I've been doing. But I've always just mostly been having faith towards just taking every step of the way. So I'm glad. I thank you for confirming that, um, Flip.
Oh, you are most welcome. And your guides too are in this moment rejoicing more than usually to because they are aware that you are giving this being given this message, and notice that you may be experiencing, of course, this in the traditional sense of your time space as two people interacting different parts on the planet through medias of technology. But what you are doing is actually channeling divine love and revelation into your own being by seeking out this interaction. And your guides are most pleased with that. And we sense that in the near future, in there are different timelines, but it is almost set in stone that in these near futures, within a realm of a couple of years to a handful of years, we would say, depending on which twists and turns your road takes, we see you developing these links very clearly. And again, the energies will be very conducive for the next 15, 16 years or so.
Ah, very interesting. Thank you for allowing me to sense and see my possible timelines, because I can already see the things that are possible for me. I believe it's all about just taking the right proper steps,
Yes.
proper actions, commitments, habits, making the right actions and decisions for this. So thank you for being another confirmation for that, Flip. Um, so I am very interested in knowing the status of how the world is towards our raising of consciousness. Tell us more about that.
Oh, yes, you are inquiring into do you wish to know about the attitudes of the planet towards the human ascension, or more about the processes taking place in human society?
Yes, the process and how we yes, the process of on how we are, how our consciousness are so far and where we are heading.
Oh, yes, you are in a very, very beautiful space. This is again the confluence years, and And a way to approach this is this type of radiant geometry, beautiful fractal patterns. We see human spirit emerging into more dimensions, and a way you can relate to this is through visualizations. And there are different ways to go about this, but a good way for many people is to reconnect with their childhood imagination. Many of you had what is known as invisible friends, or had very vivid imaginations inhabited by very many creatures, and notice that these energies were actually you integrating your let us say teaching process by way of living symbols. This is very much the content of the fifth dimension, and this is where you are entering. So if you look at the past century in particular, or the 20th century, it was in in many ways very horrible, and laced with awful conflict and confrontation. But it was also a very visionary century. It was full of the production of new imaginations, humankind suddenly depicting itself in films, and new wonderful ways of expanding. And for instance, the whole superhero franchise, which has been very popular in the past decades, is actually a way of psychologically pointing to the longing for deep human potential within you. And we see that these visions of humankind are far lesser than the beings you actually are. If you had any idea of the wonderful potential that is already unfolding in you, and what is written for you, and the wonderful destinies you have already set out for yourselves, you would marvel in a way that would make sure you would not get there because you would just sit back and listen. And that is always very important to remember, humans, that you have written this wonderful, wonderful drama for yourself, with all these twists and turns, in order to experience the struggles and the sweetness of attaining what you will attain at the end. Do
Nice.
you?
That's mhm.
Oh, yes, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, and that's great. I believe humans are they go we go through a lot of stages, and it's great now that through the internet and through our global connection throughout, everywhere in the world now, and the flow of information, we every human now has a choice to either to grow or not, or to be conscious or not. So it's just great observing that. Do you notice that too?
Yes,
Without
exactly. You have, and we are not aware if we are repeating information you may have gotten from other channels, but from many sources you have been informed about this type of shift, and it has also been let us say anticipated in many of your apocalyptic teachings from around the world, from the Hopis to the Middle Eastern religions, for instance. There is this anticipation of the great shift, and this shift is truly taking place within you. So you are either seeking out more and more wonderful ways of living and participating in life and unfolding your experience, or you are seeking out more and more hellish and brutal ways to do that. And it is exactly as you described, that at one point humans existed, and this is perhaps not more than a generation ago. Humans existed almost entirely within a consensus reality, where the experience of reality was shared and the general energies was shared. But at this present moment, there are so many influxes of complex energies that you yourselves are becoming, those of you that choose that path, and we sense that you are doing that, are becoming very powerful attuning vessels to navigate vibrationally, so to say, to come into the preferred reality of your wishes.
Very interesting. Okay. Tell us what are your thoughts about how the United States is doing, and when it comes to our political structure and how we are doing and how we're becoming this country.
Yes, that is an interesting question. And at this point, we are. There are, let us say, ambivalent emotions. Notice that from a higher dimensional perspective, we do not judge morally, so to speak. We recognize both good and evil as these are human terms, but as necessary forces to create the drama of history. But we do recognize a great deal of what may be noticed as very, very unpleasant energies in America in particular at this point. And also notice that because America has become such a conflux of energy and is transmitting its cultural values to the rest of the globe, it is also a place where many souls who have particularly grueling tasks to play out incarnate. And so as an American, there's we don't wish to in any way encourage your patriotism or your sense of being apart from humankind, but it is a culture where people undergo a great many deals of trials, both physically and emotionally. So that is one part of it. Then there's the other part, which is well, the reptilian conspiracy, as you may know it. We have in some sense been misidentified, and it is true that these reptilian energies have in the ones that are unintegrated have very much run amok, and that is what you are seeing is the worst consequences of that process, the historic culmination of the worship of the, let us say, the base desire energies over anything else is the cult of death. As you know, symbolically, procreation is and consumption is connected to death. And the reptilian instinct in your politicians is very pronounced. It is yes, we do not want to sway anyone in any, we know this is an emotionally very sensitive subject, but it is true that the president at present, and we do not wish to say his name because that is a sort of black magic invocation, but the present president, so to speak, is almost the stereotypical illustration of what reptilian energy can do when run amok. And there's this paradox about his physical structure, because you may know that he's obviously very, very unhealthy, and he looks very, very unnatural, but he somehow sustains a great deal of energy running through his body, and he does this with the basic reptilian trick that you know from your crocodiles or other reptiles, that they just simply absorb energy from their environment. So whoever comes into contact with him, and that also being attentively through media channels, somehow manage to lob off some energy and place it in his direction. But as you also may know about dark magic, black magic, it usually ends up with the with the sorcerer's apprentice drowning himself. So this energy will at the end implode, and we sense it as very, very necessary, in the way that you may notice sometimes if you are sick or dealing with a great deal of discomfort or trauma. that the pain will, in that sense, very much intensify before you are able to become fully conscious of it and release it. And there's a very much the, let us say, the natural energy of the North American continent has not gone extinct by the attempt to tame it by the white man. There is still very much this powerful active energy. We sense it as blue, very much connected to the throat chakra that is emerging in the American continent, the people living on it, and you will be able to take charge of your destiny, and you will be able to recreate the world that you want to participate in. We see that this for a great many deal of you. Yes.
It's a very interesting perspective that you have, because I'm trying to, because I have my own perspectives on how I see the president currently, the kind of moves that he's making. Are you familiar with QAnon?
Oh, could you say that, repeat that again?
Are you familiar with QAnon?
Oh, it rings a bell, but no, 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 we are not. No.
So it's currently right now. I heard there are, so there's the cabal, right? There's the evil people, and then currently there's an alliance of U.S. military intelligence in which they're currently helping with the Great Awakening towards here in the United States and throughout everywhere in the world. That's why you see protests happening everywhere. It's because it's the current takedown of the cabal in every uh, different countries, but especially a lot here in the United States. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, we are trying to. This is very, very interesting because this is a very different type of scan that has previously passed through the channel. So we are trying to scan this type of new information, but we are getting the sense of, let us say, yes, connected military energy doing, also using these new methods of reconstructed communication, and perhaps very low key, very much underneath the radar, so to speak. Um, Also, another aspect of that is that the cabal was never as tightly knit as you may imagine it. Even within these special groups of interest, there are different conflicts, and there are also people. The reason that you prefer, one of the reasons that the word Illuminati is often thrown around, is exactly because once you somehow separate yourselves from your base sense of self identity, you get the opportunity to wield a great deal of power. And this power you can wield for your own enrichment, or you can yield it for the love and setting free of mankind. And often you will experience within these cabals that some of them are actually double agents. So people who also prefer to see a great deal of chaos unfold.
Right.
And we did register with the mention of the Pentagon, or you didn't mention, but we got pictures of the Pentagon, and there's a sort of, say, dark spell going on there that has been shifting. There are energies within some of the lines of the Pentagon that has been corroding and letting in different stuff. And this is definitely a sign of what you may know as the old world order emerging. But always remember that these things can be interpreted both negatively and positively. So for some, what you may be describing is a move towards greater freedom, and we do sense that for the timeline that you are on. This is definitely the way that this will develop. But for others, this may be seen as a great fall into chaos.
Right. It's
Yes.
very interesting because, yeah, there's currently besides the rising consciousness, there's also a great awakening happening here in the United States, in which these old old beliefs, like even like the Democrats, these old parties,
Certainly.
in which truth is actually coming out now. We're not
Yes.
being deceived anymore. Mainstream media is not lying to us, and it's just the finding of truth, because and the people are getting tired of it. And yeah, it's just very interesting mentioning that, and I want to know your perspective about it, because I know you guys are mostly sensing energies, which is interesting.
Yes, exactly. And it is not noticed that from a we are not saying that had were you on the timeline where Hillary Clinton became president that you were be in any less of under the reptilian yoke, so to speak. These negative energies have infested the entire a major political apparatus. We are aware that, of course, the United States is a great place with a great many deal of currents, but it is true that what you call, yes, your federal government is in that sense completely infested by um, yes, material energies run amok. So that is a place where the heart, yes, the heart space wants to open and enter. And 2020 will be interesting in that sense. We know for many of you, the entire world is watching what is going on in America. But it is always worth returning to that ancient metaphor of childbirth. That it is very it doesn't sound good, and it's very messy to watch, but a miracle is actually taking place, and the world is unfolding just as it is as it is supposed to be.
Very nice, very nice. So, Flip, aside just giving advice through channels and helping us, are you also assisting us in some way, like external, like for example, like weather modification or any kind of, you know, outside assistance from you guys?
Well, the reptilian part of the human experiment is different. You were connecting before the session. You were mentioning our connection to what you know as the Galactic Council, and we are connected in that way. But it is these entities in a far greater degree, and many others. For instance, what you know as the Greys, who are affecting your let us say environmental system, or more ecological structures in that sense. Our role at present, we have played a great many roles in human history, and will play a great many more, and also in the history of the Gaia before you came here. But at present, we are more integrated within your bloodstreams. We are a part of your DNA. We were, along with the Pleiadians, the main architects between the last major altercations of your DNA. And so we have both been invested in keeping humanity in this sense of material fixation for a great many long time. But now we are opening, also active in opening up, for those of you seeking our assistance in particular, opening up your DNA to receive the higher informational codes coming in from the universe at this point of time. And that is why uh, we are both very much more easy to be contacted, and we are more present in the human consciousness that we have been for many millennia, because we are at present assisting in the activation of your DNA, so you can open up to these more cosmic energies coming in from other benevolent galactic races. This is how we see it. Yes.
Ah, very interesting. So, what are some ways that we can help activate our DNA and be more open towards these types of like energies?
Oh, you can. Well, there are different methods, and many of them have been unfolded. But what you know as uh, let us say meditative cardio. So if you get your pulse up and you oxygenate your blood for a long time, but you do it without too many cultural distractions. So that means no music, no conversation, but you do it as a meditative practice, as you also may know, for instance, for us from your vinyasa yoga, which is the same principle. This continuous oxygenation is a good way to go about it. Um, then we would also recommend breathing exercises along with your meditation. The energies are very conducive for the opening of the pineal at present, and so we would yes recommend you to do um, work with what you may know from your yoga systems as your root lock. So do this where you take deep inhalations and you yes, sort of stuff them down, compact the air down into your lower bodies, and then you pinch it off by using your root lock, and maybe also your um, oh yes, this banda here in your solar plexus area. Um, that would be a very helpful way to try to build more energy. Um, yes, and for you in particular, if there's something in particular you're trying to contact or some guides or something, we can also give you yes, if you offer us that, we can give you more particular advice.
Yes, actually, that's what I've been very interested on is besides just learning how to do astral projection, I wanted to be able to contact my guides. Is there any specific because you're the channel there, is there any specific message that they would like to tell me or that you know?
Oh, yes, we are sensing them um, at present. There are different entities. It's funny. It's also when you read this landscape, it's almost like a like a type of fairy or fantasy land,
Go
because
ahead.
there's so many different creatures. So the we see some greenish beings who would like you to know that your wisdom is being sharpened. They are letting you know that they are assisting in sharpening your wisdom. So you are, without you actually noticing, becoming more and more keen on just observing life and interacting with yourself and the world every day. And a way, if you would like to somehow manifest this for yourself, you could start doing um, some sort of yeah, monotonous mind exercise like Sudoku or whatever you prefer, and you would notice that you would get better and better at a increasing pace that would somehow baffle you. So those are those ones. The Of course, the angelic energies are uh, I'm somehow sensing, and this may be completely off, but I'm somehow sensing a pain in running up from your let us say as in the back of your lower hind leg, and then shooting up and progressing somewhat up your back, and it's not too intense, but it is present, and they would like you to know that they're working on they're also working on integrating this if there's something that may have been hurt there.
Mhm.
Does this make any sense to you? We can deliver more messages, but we are checking in between.
Y- Yes, it does make sense because recently I actually got ran over by a car.
Oh,
So, but then it wasn't much. But then it was kind of like, oh, okay. So yeah, so you did sense it right that I but now I yeah, I've been healing and recovering. So yes. So yeah, uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, we are glad to hear.
And what
Realize
are
you.
the other messages? Go ahead.
Yes, we have. Oh, yes, there's some. He says this is more like a yellow energy or something that is. It's somehow some sort of nourishing feminine energy, almost like a golden star, and it's relating yourself to we want to say the place between um, your higher solar plexus, where your rib cage breastplate begins,
Mhm.
and your navel is the place in between, and she's letting us know that you will be fertile um, in your endeavors, and these are both. Yes, and she's relating to it more professionally, and also maybe that your financial worries won't be as great as they have been. You shouldn't worry much, because that will be in order. We also sense that there might be. You shouldn't take any heartbreak too seriously at this point in your life, because at this point in your life you are still very much interested in learning spiritual lessons, and we sense romantic energies coming into your life that will be very helpful to learning, but that will also have a sense of shall we say, unfulfilled longing about them.
Okay. Would you say would that be all?
Oh, yes, we can also go into more specifics about any one of these things, but also we can try to read. Um, oh, yes, the Pleiadian energy is very strong, and in that sense, we say um, perhaps drink more water, and if you could eat nuts, we're getting but in in sense, if like connecting to this blue energy, which is the Pleiadian energy, is what you may also connect to your images of very elvish creatures, like human beings, but like immortal, high human beings of learning and magic, who have gone through a lot of those processes of internal struggle and social struggle to ascend to a new place. And we would yes, and they are telling you to find that. So we are getting um, remember the flowers, Michael. Remember the flowers. Remember the flowers. It would be good for you. Yes.
Wh- What does that symbolically mean, or what does that mean, the flowers?
Oh, the flowers. Maybe you. This means the sprouting of life, the free flowing color of your vision. You may know in ancient harvest festivals, or still, if you may have observed little girls who go out and pick flowers and rub them together in or weave them together in wreaths, and this sense of planting wreaths about your flowers, remembering that you are a king of imagination and wonder and creation, and that flowers are always springing forth from your heart space and from your mind space and from your the cavities and crevices of your body. Everything is always flowering, is expanding, wanting to assume new and beautiful shapes and sizes and forms. Yes.
Very interesting. So at least now I know what kind of guides are guiding me. Can you tell me more about those greenish beings? What are they?
Oh, well, yeah, they are. They always seem like cartoonishly alien in their present, and they have like is kind of like a tin soldier, a stick figure, or Lego like stiffness in their movements. Their way of communicating is it's telepathic, but it's clicking. They're claiming they're claiming they have a sense of. Oh yeah, this is interesting. They're claiming they have do not take this the wrong way, but a stake in your DNA. They're interested in your genetic code because a part of it has been used for the hybrid program, which they're connected to. Um, they are. Yes, they are one of the hybrid races I'm getting. And their energy is, yes, it's different. And they are saying that you're a really fun guy. You need to remember that a lot more. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah.
Uh, do they have a specific name
I can ask them. Is it?
and race?
Ja, Knirsko, they're saying. The Knirsko. They're saying they're not known as such. They're not one of the major races. They present like an offshoot of the hybrid program. They are um, jokers of sort. They wanted to go their own ways, and so uh, they made an offshoot at a timeline, and now they are mostly for entertainment purposes, and because they want to also participate in some of the very humorous energies that are concentrated around human beings. They often interact with humans, and the reason they're connected to you in particular is that they say you have like it's difficult to translate, but they say like a rainbow chocolate energy, like something sweet but substantial overflowing is what they're saying. Yeah.
Wow, very interesting. And as you were describing them, I feel like they definitely resonate with me because I'm always like happy and I'm always, you know, positive and and yeah, so they do that resonate with me. And but it's interesting because it's my first time hearing from them and you, hearing from them and from other guides. I didn't even know I have other guides besides angels, and that's a very interesting. Thank you, Flip. Can you tell me
Oh,
more?
yes, you're
Go ahead.
very welcome.
Can you tell me more about who the angelic beings are that you said that were healing, healing me, or tell me more about them?
Oh, yes, the angelic beings. We were at first sensing Michael, but the energies are also the channel is not very acquainted with the
Mhm.
angelic realms, but he senses the energy of Uriel. He wants to say, and what is particular about this angelic energy is that it is. Oh, what is it you're telling me? You are very concerned with proper balance healing in a sense. Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's that it's again it's integration, but integration in the kindest, softest way, and they would offer you to this energy is very close to your heart, and not in the general sense of just the heart energy, but your personal soul heart is in particular is very much connected to this energy, and and it is inviting you to recognize, for instance, when you go to sleep at night, or whenever you feel the need um, yes, for a pick me up or a connection, so to speak, to remember this white, this very white circulating, almost massaging energy that resides in your heart and that you are sharing with the world as you go about living your life.
Ah, very interesting. Okay, so at least now I know about that. And the third one, when you said the yellow energy, golden star energy, so she's feminine. Can you tell me more about her, or who she
Oh
is?
yeah, we if there's a sound connected, it is something like and she is saying we can bring her in to talk to you if you want to. Would you like that?
Sure. Okay.
Okay, yes, it has been good interacting with you.
Yeah.
We will see you at another time. We can always you can always reach us by reaching for the dragons. We will now bring in you.
Thank you, Flip. Thank you.
Be greeted, Michael. We are
Hello.
very
Hello.
glad to interact with you.
Yes. Can you tell me more about who you are and yes,
Oh,
and
yes, we are a benevolent, warm energy. A way of approaching us is through the energy of the sun, but this is only an aspect of it. We are what you may know as pure concentrated starlight. We have guided your passage down here because you were in need of some encouragement. We sense you came from the more bluish dimensions of another part of the cosmos. And by bluish, we mean the association with these almost sad energies that you also describe when you talk about having the blues in your language. And so we came always to cheer you up, to be there with warmth and love and beauty in another incarnation, in another corner of the multiverse time space. We are sitting with another form of us having a very pleasant conversation about all the adventures we have had while you were here on Earth and I protected you, or while I was there on other planets in other galaxies and you were there protecting me as a also a bright star energy with your warming light. Yes.
wow, I did not know about that. By any chance, do you know or remember what my past lives are?
Oh, yes. Well, you realize that past lives can be very complex, but for you, we sense that you had a connection to the Arcturians quite recently in your incarnation history, and you also had Lemurian incarnations. Your connection to your human existences have been rich but also scattered. You have needed to take breaks from your experiences down here. And often we find it, oh, we are connecting to something. Let us see. This is a past life of yours. We are seeing elephants in southern India, and we are seeing these elephants being brought to plantations where they are loaded with cinnamon in particular. there is this wonderful sense of cinnamon about you. And in that sense, there was in this incarnation, children very much loved to flock about you because you were the most pleasant smelling man they had ever met, they would joke. And the elephants also, they cared a great deal for you because you would not drive them too hard, and you would also make sure that they were probably fed and that they did not suffer any more than they needed to.
Wow.
Yes.
That was very interesting. So you said we've helped each other in the past,
Oh,
or like we were
yes.
connected in the past. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, yes. Well, you see, we see pictures of you feeling sorrowful. This is, of course, very common in the human experience, but we see that in this sort of bent over pain state, that we came to you. Um, and remember, we are always present, but we came to you and revealed ourselves as a goldenish whisper in your ear telling you that you were loved and opening you up to the more sensitive energies that you were being at that point, um, not ostracized, but you were people were making you suffer or feeling different for being who you were, and this was very painful. And in that sense, we represent this, let us say, from maybe from your sense of Jungian psychology, the anima, or the female representation. And it is not that, because you have also integrated your energy, but we are like the surrounding starlight that keeps you here in your loved in your incarnation in earth, and keeps you supported in the way you are here. And you could approach us also as a masculine energy if you find that more particular, but or more preferable. But we do sense that our nature, with the very much the nurturing of our existence, makes us appear feminine. Yes.
Wow. Would you, so throughout my life you've always been with me and everywhere I go?
Well, yes, yes, yes. This is we do not wish to frighten anyone. Notice that we are a part of you, so it is not that we are separate in that sense. It is more that we represent some of your forgotten nature, some of the nature that is always present with you, but that you lose to play this game of being Michael and at this present moment. But then, yes, in your time space, so to speak, we are always there along with anything else. And you will also learn, and have, of course, already learned at some point in your soul's development, to jump these realities. So we are present there with you, but we are also present in the beyond with you. There you sense our love, and here you sense our love. And you will sense our love in the future, and you have sensed our love.
Wow. Yeah, I really appreciate the love and realizing this, because so far sometimes intellectually it's like I know there are other beings, other guides, other things out there, but here actually feeling it, actually sensing the love is kind of like, wow, it's actually real.
Yes. And again, we remind you, as the previous entity did, and they are connected to the channel, but we are reminding you that this is simply a medium, is a true word for it, for you actually experiencing that love where you are in your present reality. And so you are in fullness right now, where you are surrounded by that love, and call upon it always when you wish to.
Wow. Thank you for showing me and making me realize that it's always been a part of me. It's because sometimes it's like it's tough when you're alone and just kind of like
Yes.
learning how the truths about life. But this is kind of like adding another confirmation and experience towards my life, and it just helps me to go forward a lot more.
Yes, we are very happy to hear. We are very happy to hear, and we are also very pleased that you are willing to share this joyous experience with us, and realize that this is as a stepping stone in your journey, and connecting to your own guides. This is a very good way of going about it, because we sense now that the radiation is living in your heart, and we mean radiation in the most positive, wonderful sense of the word. The love is radiating within you, and this will call the contact to you even more than you already have.
Wow, now I see it. Are there any specific other messages that you would like to tell me or let me know?
Oh, well, no, we wish to say yes. Do not be too dismayed over your political process. Vote with
Mhm.
your heart and know that things will turn out as they have to.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And can you tell but do you know if I have any hybrid DNA or any um, alien within me? Could you sense that?
Oh yes, most certainly, most certainly. When the previous channel was speaking about the Pleiadian DNA, that was very much active, and we sensed the all humans have been altered and different, but the compositions are different and the degrees of activation are different, and we sense the Pleiadian DNA in particular is being activated. Also, the Arcturian DNA, it's an energy that is a little foreign to the channel to sense, but we sense that there is some sense of wisdom there emerging in the purplish light. Um, so yes, you definitely have this DNA, and you also have the reptilian, the strong DNA, and you can use it if you really wish to call upon the focus of power. The reptilian DNA is a good place to focus. Yes.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it's great. Now I'm really learning a lot more about myself and who I am and what I'm made of, and it's very encouraging hearing this from you and hearing and confirming that there's definitely much more than just the physical. And
Yes.
and I fully believe in you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Um uh can you is there anything else you would like to tell me?
No. Would you like us to offer you a we can offer you, it's a type of prayer that will resonate with this vibrational spectrum. We offer you this as our um, yes, as our goodbye in this interaction, but know that we will be interacting uh, many times in the wonderful co-creation of eternity. So we offer you this prayer, and it is Istu fuom e hutu in enzu. May the sublime blessings, love, and peace be upon you. May love follow you throughout your days. May you always find peace when you turn your eye to look for it. Be well, Michael. We will see you again. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Much love. Thank you so much.
Okay, so hi, Michael.
Dude, that
Yeah.
was very interesting, Mads. I had a great experience.
Okay. I'm glad to hear. So like, I'm kind of, yeah, I'm like, it's kind of like a daydream. So I am present, and I can
Uh-huh.
kind of perceive what is going on. So I
Yeah.
can gather much of the energetic exchanges, and I really sense that, yeah, it was a good experience for you too. I'm really happy about that.
I'm very I hope you get to preview the video because it was kind of like a wide range topics. I just kind of like just let it flow whatever question I asked, but it's
Yeah, that's
at the
perfect.
end it was perfect. It's like I'm very encouraged. I'm very interested in doing this with you whenever, you want to do this, man. And I'm very open now.
Perfect, man. I'm glad to hear, and I really I might take you. I very much might take you up on that. It was a very good interaction for me too, and I'm getting used to these energies. So it's
Uh-huh.
like it's I can sense it's very good for me, but it's also kind of taxing. So it's just, yeah, it's very good. I'm so glad you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. If whenever you're gonna have this, just let me know. You
Yeah,
know.
that's perfect. And right now I'm just kind of groggy, so
Oh,
I'll log off, and then I'll write you like yeah, likely tomorrow or something, and just say, yeah, thanks for the session, and I'll have heard it, and yeah, probably upload it and everything, and I'm so happy,
yes.
and then let's do it again sometime. That would be fun.
Thank you, Mats. I appreciate this opportunity in sharing this with you. And, you know, thank you. Thank you again. I'll talk to you
Yeah,
soon. Thank you.
thank you. You too, Michael, and you have a nice a nice Saturday over there, and I'll talk to you.
You too, my friend. Got it. Bye bye.
Perfect. Bye.